How much taxpayer money will be spent to change all of this?
The City of Muskegon has received a $2.8 million grant from the state of Michigan for the development of a wharf on the 3rd Street area. So we will be using that to acquire the 3rd Street Wharf property from MartDoc and to do improvements on the site. We will be selling Fisherman's Landing Campground to MartDoc, and we will use the proceeds from that to go towards purchasing our 25 acres of the Verplank property. There will be a gap there that the city's general fund or grant dollars will need to be used to completely purchase the 25 acres from Verplank. We're also anticipating using what's called a river estuary restoration grant for the work to do the river estuary restoration itself. And that's a state grant that we've gone through the process of applying for before and came very close. One of the reasons that we didn't get that is because we didn't own that property. Once we own the property, it should become easier to get that grant. So will there be public dollars from the city invested into these projects over time? Yes, absolutely. We will also be working to facilitate grants and using dollars that we've already had appropriated from the state for this project as well.
Why is the city helping a private company?
It's not that the city is helping a private company move its business. It's that the city's master plan for many, many years has called for this movement to occur. And really the city is the one who initiated this process in the late 80s and early 90s with the rezoning of MartDoc and the creation of the industrial port PUD zoning, which aims to consolidate port operations to the east side of Muskegon Lake. So this was something that the city started the conversation on years ago on how do we activate the lakefront of Muskegon Lake in our downtown. The way that would be accomplished is by moving the port operations to another area on the lake.
Why do we need more or different cruise ship docks?
The cruise ship industry is something that's expanding in the Great Lakes, and currently the city of Muskegon only has a dock at Heritage Landing that can accommodate the smaller to mid-sized vessels on the lake. There's larger ships that tour the Great Lakes that we're not able to accommodate because of the size of our dock. We don't have any docking facilities that were purposefully built to handle cruise ships, and this would be an opportunity to do that. Because the cruise ship industry is growing, this is a tourism and economic development tool as well, and it can help with repeat visitors and help to promote Muskegon as a whole to people who might not have a visit here otherwise.
Give us a general timeline for the project. When would we get the new park?
So the timeline itself is a little bit in flux. What we do know is if the City Commission approves this agreement in November of 2025, in early 26, the city would take acquisition of the 3rd Street Wharf property, and in 26 we would begin improvements to that property itself. The movement of the LST and the Silver Sides will be subject to a number of different factors, including the ability of those institutions to raise the balance of the money to move those vessels over to the 3rd Street area if that's where they end up going. The closing of the campground will be dependent upon the grant process for the Port Industrial Improvement Grants that we would apply for in concert with MartDoc. And that grant process, there's generally about a 6-month window from when you apply to when you find out if you've been awarded the grant. The awarding of the grant generally comes in the fall of each year, so that would mean construction would start the following spring. We don't know exactly what year that would be, whether it would be the spring of 27 or 28 or 29. That then starts the other clocks ticking on changes to the Verplank property when the port moves and things of that nature. What we do know from the agreement is once port operations commence at the Fisherman's Landing site, West Michigan Dock has 5 years to stop operations at MartDoc in the downtown. Once port operations at MartDoc stop in the downtown, deed restrictions, self-imposed deed restrictions by West Michigan Dock go into effect on the MartDoc property. that deed restriction restricts port activity and related activities on that site forever. So we know what the timeline triggers will be, but the exact years and months that those will occur beyond the acquisition of the 3rd Street Wharf are still a little bit up in the air based on a variety of different factors, and that's not uncommon with development.